Well, the battle's going to continue on Thursday for the ATV Adventure Trails pilot program. Public hearing is set for the Inyo County Board of Supervisors. And again, that's Thursday, January 22nd, 10 a.m. Now, this is going to be taking place at the Legion Hall in Independence, expecting an overflowing crowd. Didn't think the supervisors' chambers could handle the amount of people that will probably show up. Now, the Adventure Trails pilot project has deeply divided the public, and the postponements became necessary out of an abundance of caution to provide more time for the state's Fair Political Practices Commission to provide Inyo County with guidance about the ability of all 5 members of the Inyo County Board of Supervisors to participate in the decision-making process. Now, last week, Inyo County Council Marge Kemp Williams announced that she had received an advice opinion from the state's Fair Political Practices Commission, and that advice opinion in which Commission staff concluded that the Inyo County Board of Supervisors decisions required to be made as part of the board's consideration on the Adventure Trails project, quote, will not have a reasonably foreseeable material financial effect on any of the supervisors' interests, end quote. Now, according to Kemp Williams, quote, the FPPC's ruling clears the way for each member of the Board of Supervisors to participate in the decision-making process regarding the Adventure Trails project if he so chooses, end quote. Now, the agenda from the Inyo County Board of Supervisors states that the board will, quote, conduct a public hearing to take public comment on the Eastern Sierra ATV Adventure Trail System project and consider a draft resolution titled, quote, a resolution of the Board of Supervisors of the County of Inyo, State of California, certifying the final environmental impact report concerning and making certain findings, adopting mitigation measures, adopting a mitigation monitoring and reporting program, approving an Eastern Sierra ATV Adventure Trail System project, and adopting rules and regulations for the use of the Adventure Trail System, end quote, or modifications thereto as directed by the board. Again, that meeting Thursday, 10 a.m., Legion Hall in Independence, which is located at 207 South Edwards Street. Well, Deb Murphy filed this story for Sierra Wave Media. A light at the end of the Lower Owens River Canal began to shine after 4.5 hours of presentations and discussions last Wednesday in Independence. Now, as the packed Board of Supervisors chambers began to empty following the Lower Owens River Project annual report meeting, Sierra Club representatives and Los Angeles Department of Water and Power staff attorney were in discussion on scheduling the work to amend court documents and remove restrictions that, according to consultants Ecosystem Sciences, were choking the Owens. Any amendment or a change to the 1997 Memorandum of Understanding and 2007 Stipulation and Order would require an aye vote by all 5 parties to the document. Now, the light could still flicker out, Deb Murphy writes, but there seemed to be more optimism that this time the base flows and pump back capacity limits could be rescinded, at least for the next 2 to 3 years, to correct water quality and other issues related to the river's managed flows. Now, Sierra Club's Mark Bagley, one of the MOU partners, outlined what he hoped would be elements of a temporary amendment incorporating some of the concerns expressed by other partners, California Department of Fish and Wildlife and the Owens Valley Committee. Now, those elements included suspending the flow and pump back limits for at least 2, but preferably 3 years, water quality and flow monitoring and reports, and possibly limiting the total volume at the pump back station by linking that volume to the water introduced into the Owens River at the intake below Tinnemaha, and reviewing the process after the first year. Now, LADWP Aqueduct Manager Jim Yanata agreed. LADWP has monitoring devices already to deploy, and the monitoring will be done regardless of changes to the MOU. Now, the only concern that may not be immediately addressed was Owens Valley Committee's Nancy Masters' request that this latest agreement include a feasibility study on the islands, a section near Lone Pine where overflow from a Tule clogged channel represents loss to evaporation transpiration, as well as contributing to poor water quality as the water returns to the main river channel. If not a full-blown study, Masters requested a commitment to look at a feasibility study. Yanata was concerned that the necessary changes be made in the next 2 months, so those changes changes could be put into effect in the late winter, early spring of this year. Now, there's much more on this story from Deb Murphy on our website, sierrawave.net. Also, Jim Yanata, in a prepared statement released by the LADWP, said, quote, LADWP with the Inyo County Water Department and MOU consultants have recognized for some time that changes in flow are needed to improve water quality and riparian vegetation in the Lower Owens River project. Now, this would further achieve the original project goals. LADWP staff has worked with the MOU consultants to develop a flow regime that can be satisfied within the amount of water available for the Lower Owens River project. This can be achieved by eliminating the 2007 stipulation and order requirements for a minimum base flow of 40 cubic feet per second throughout the Lower Owens River project and a maximum 50 CFS limit for the pump back station. That statement continues. We look forward to collaborating with the MOU parties to modify the 2007 stipulation in order to implement changes described by the MOU consultant that maximize the beneficial use of the flows available to the project. These measures are to improve water quality and riparian vegetation and should be implemented as soon as possible. This requires amending the stipulation and order by mid-February so that we can implement the modified flow regime, including a flushing flow in March of this year, end quote. And again, that was from LADWP manager, Aqueduct manager, Jim Yanata. Well, Mono County has a new sheriff, Ingrid Braun, who spoke with Sierra Wave Media last week after taking office.
My law enforcement background, I started with the Los Angeles Police Department in 1990 after graduating from Cal in 1989. And I worked there for 21 years as a police officer, patrol, detectives, internal affairs, promoted to lieutenant. I was a watch commander, and I ran a gang and narcotics unit in Pacoima. And so after 21 years, though, my husband was ready to retire, and I was able to retire young at age 43. So we did, because our passion is skiing and Mammoth and Mono County. And we love everything here, and we couldn't wait to get here full time. So as soon as we could retire and get out, we did. I am so humbled and honored to be the 25th sheriff of Mono County. It's my dream job. I didn't realize it was my dream job, but it's my dream job. And I want to do everything I can to live up to your expectations and to be what you want out of your law enforcement. It's been an adjustment. It's been new. Every day is something different, but it's been really good. I've been really well received by both the community and by the department. I feel like we're just moving forward and nobody's looking back. We're just, hey, where can we go from here? What can we do to make it better? I think we've had sort of a public image problem, a relationship with the community that we need to get on the same page where the department trusts the community and the community trusts the sheriff's department. So I want to rebuild that trust. We have great deputies out there working and great people in our community, and we need to all be together working towards the common goal of a beautiful, safe place for people to live, work, and visit. Going out to every public event that I can. I went to a basketball game in Lee Vining last night. I went to the tourism thing in Mammoth on Thursday. I go to every Board of Supervisors meeting. I wear a uniform everywhere I go. I expect my deputies to wear a uniform, and I won't expect anything less from myself. So just rebuilding that image, just being out, being visible, being approachable. I want people to come up and say, hey, so nice to meet you. I voted for you, or I think it's great that you're here, or I didn't vote for you, but I support you. Whatever people can do to communicate or connect with the sheriff's department. And to that end, I've empowered my public information officer, Jennifer Hansen, to do more social media. We're now on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, because that's how people communicate these days. And I want people to have us be part of their lives. And if their lives are online, then that's where we'll be too. There's a lot of things that we can do differently. Professionalize the department, have a more uniform appearance. Some things are easy fixes. Some things are long-term fixes. Rebuilding the trust of the community is really the short-term and long-term goal. But there are some other things that we could do to modernize the department and to work cooperatively with all the other agencies. So work on our radio communications, work on partnering together, training together. There are a lot of ideas, and a lot of the guys have ideas that they're coming to me with, and they're great ideas. I'm like, good, let's roll with that. And I give it back to them. Get me more information, make that happen. I want the public to trust the sheriff's department, to much as we've rebuilt the trust with the Mammoth Lakes Police Department, to have a trust with the sheriff's department that we are here to help. We are here to put bad guys in jail, no doubt about it, but we're also here to help people and to solve crimes and to solve problems, not even just crimes, but community problems, things that we have the resources. I want people to come to us and just know that, hey, maybe the sheriff's department can help me with that. Or, if I don't have an answer, I can find you the right person you need to talk to. Either it's social services or behavioral health, or maybe it's a PD problem. Maybe it's something at Forest Service. But to have the resources so that we are that one-stop shop where people can come to the sheriff's department and say, hey, can you help me with this? I want the trust.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Sheriff Braun. And we look forward to hearing more from this interview in future broadcasts. We'll be back with more news.